Alright, so today we're going to be going over 10 teams that are unexpected and they have the brightest futures in all of college football for the next few years. Now, of course, on this list, since these teams are unexpected, you're not going to be seeing blue bloods like Alabama or Ohio State on this list. You're going to be seeing teams that have struggled in years past, but I expect them to have bright futures. And so we're going to go ahead and get right into it with number 10. This is going to be Arkansas. Last year they were just terrible. They were 2-10. I think they're going to go 6-6 next year. I think definitely Arkansas is going to be a team that's going to improve. I mean, the recruiting's improving. Chad Morris continues to get the players that he needs. Of course, as a head coach, you need players that you are going to use pretty well for your standard of things. Like, every coach is different. They are going to use their players differently, and it's good that he's starting to adjust to his group. Offense will definitely be a bright side for this team, and they also, as they've added 2 transfers, the receiving core is going to be much better going into the 2019 season. I think that will be a highlight of this Arkansas team going into 2019. Number 9, we've got Wake Forest, and now in Wake Forest, they are really talked about by many people. They really have never been very elite. But they were 7-6 last year, made it to a bowl game. Overall, pretty good season for Wake Forest. We really haven't seen them do many great things in college football. In 2019, they're going to go 8-4, I believe. This team is going to steadily improve. I don't think that they're going to be on the level of where they're going to be one of the best teams in the ACC. But I definitely think that they're going to be competitive. That's for sure. Dave Clawson is a great coach for this program. Offense is a good part of this team. If the defense can improve, that will help this team a ton. If you can have, for Wake Forest, this goes for a lot of teams as well, having a good, balanced offense and defense, that really, really will help you. Recruiting is trending upward for this team as well, and how high can Wake Forest go is going to be a question that people are going to be asking. And I think that Wake Forest, they can go to the point of getting close to ACC championships, I do believe. I mean, the thing is that they have to get through Clemson, I believe, and that is going to be something that's going to be very difficult for Wake Forest to do, especially for the next few years. So just something to keep in mind there. But yeah, Wake Forest, I do believe, has a bright future coming. Number 8, we've got North Carolina, and they were terrible last year as well, 2-9. Really dropped off from the 2017 season. Mac Brown taking over. He's a great coach, and I really do believe that he's going to do some great things. He's an older coach, and he did already retire from Texas previously from taking this job. But I do think Mac Brown, though, he's going to help this program a lot. Kind of like Les Miles, with, like, supposedly he was going to retire, and then he goes for that Kansas job. So these two coaches, they'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how Kansas and North Carolina will do in the future. I think, though, Mac Brown, he'll do better at North Carolina. But ACC Coastal Division, this is a favorable division in the ACC. Of course, I mean, they don't really have many good teams in that division, so that's going to be favorable for North Carolina going into the future. Hopefully, they will be able to take it to the top of that division. The recruiting is trending upward once again for North Carolina. That is going to be very helpful. Great successes in recent years. I mean, this has been a team that has been nothing more than average, but they've had their good years, that's for sure. How long until improvement? It probably will be a good 2 to 3 years, I do believe. This is going to be Mac Brown's first year, so I'm expecting a 4-8. I don't think they'll go 2-10 or 2-9, but I really do believe that North Carolina will improve going into next season. It probably won't be by a lot, but it will be an improvement. Number 7, we've got Minnesota. They were 7-6 in 2018. They're going to be 8-4 in 2019. I think this team is steadily improving. PJ Fleck is going to be, he's doing a pretty good job there, I do believe. Big Ten West, also a very favorable division. I believe that we have 3 teams from the Big Ten West on this division. It's going to be really interesting in that division to see how everyone's going to do. But I think, like, we got Minnesota, we got Purdue, we got Nebraska. All 3 of those teams I think are very favorable, and then you also have Wisconsin to it. It's going to be interesting and up in that Big Ten West for sure. Could this be Minnesota's year next year? I do believe that they're going to be competitive with some teams. They're probably going to make a couple upsets happen. I really do believe that will end up happening. But will they be championship contenders? I don't believe that will happen next year. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Minnesota within a couple years, if you told me, I mean, if they improve next season, of course, if you told me that Minnesota would be in the Big Ten championship in a couple years, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I would be a little bit surprised, of course, since you got Nebraska and Wisconsin. But Minnesota, they will be up there, that is for sure. Number 6, we've got Syracuse. They were 10-3 last season. Really good season for them. Now this is kind of a few college football teams. They have a really good year, and then they're like really bad for a few other years, and then they're good again. And then it's kind of just like a hit or miss. But I think for Syracuse, I think next season, even though they are losing a few key players, I think that they're going to stay right in the same position. I think they're going to be 10-2, but they do have a tough road to beat, as they do have to play Clemson. Clemson is in their division, I believe. That is something that's going to be difficult for this team. They had a great 2018 season, but how long of a run can this team make in the future is going to be a question that a lot of people are going to be asking. I mean, I think that Syracuse, they have a ton of potential, and I don't know how long this run is going to last for them. Just as long as they can keep the talent coming in, as long as recruiting improves, that's how Syracuse is going to do. They do need to beat Clemson, though. If they can beat Clemson, that is going to be a big key to this team doing well. Number 5 is going to be Purdue, team number 2 from the Big Ten West on this list, and they were 6-7 last season. They're going to be 7-5 in 2019. Of course, after regular season, I'm not counting bowl games in this. But I do believe that this team is going to be very similar to Minnesota for the next few years. Even though Minnesota will probably be slightly better next season at least, I think they're going to be right around the same ballpark for the next few years, of course. Recruiting continues to pick up in Purdue. That is a great sign for them. Purdue has been able to do well with a very low amount of talent. Jeff Brom has really done a great job with his team. And I really do believe, they signed him to a good contract, and I believe that Brom is really going to help this team into the future. Number 4, we got UCLA. They were 3-9 last season. They were really terrible in Chip Kelly's first season. In 2019, they're going to be 6-6. I think they're going to improve by 3 games. They're going to make it to a bowl game once again. This is a team that usually, in the past few years, has done pretty well. They've been able to compete with the Pac-12 pretty well. But it will take some time for UCLA to get back to the top and to get back to the high points, but they will be able to do it, I do believe. The Pac-12 South needs a great team. Pac-12 South is really up for grabs, and I think UCLA will be able to take that in the coming years. But Chip Kelly will need to adjust once again, but he's a great coach for the program. I think he's going to do very well within the next few years. How high can UCLA go? I really do believe that this team could be competing for Rose Bowls. This team really has potential to do that. UCLA once again is going. They're going to be slow right now, but I really do believe that they're going to be a great team once again into the future. Number 3, we've got Miami. They were 7-6 last season. They're going to be 9-3 in 2019. The ACC Coastal Division once again is a favorable division. It still needs a team that is going to be great, and I think that Miami will be able to be that. They've got lots of talent. Great head coach in Manny Diaz. He's taking over. And so, lots of potential in this team, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Miami does next season. But I think that how relevant will Miami get? And they get back to where they were. Of course, a couple decades ago, this was a really great team. You can't forget about that. But Miami, I do believe, will be able to be competing for ACC championships in the future. It could even be next year. I would not be surprised if that happened. But definitely Miami. I think they're going to be a great team in the future, as long as they can keep their recruiting going. If Diaz can keep recruiting, that's really going to help this team. Number 2, top 2, we got Tennessee. They were 5-7 last season under Pruitt. This was his first season last year. And I think, of course, when you have a new coach, it can take years for him to turn around the program. We've seen that. Scott Frost, of course, being a great coach, and then Jeremy Pruitt, he's another great example. These coaches will do very well in the coming years, I really do believe, and I am Pruitt. This team has a bright future in Tennessee. I really do believe that they're going to be in the top of the SEC within a decade or so. I think Pruitt's a great coach. Return to bowls in 2019. I really do believe that's going to happen as well. As they were 5-7, they were really close to it. Had a little bit of a low. They had their low points, but I really do believe that we're going to see some improvements in 2019. Number 1, we've got Nebraska. They were 4-8 last season. this ain't much of a shock to most of you, I'm sure. I mean, I may sound like a Nebraska fan by how much I'm raving him on. Let me just tell you, I really am not. I'm on both sides here. I'm neutral on this team. But recruiting has been excellent so far the last couple of years. They've got a great offense, ton of potential in this team, definitely. They're going to be 9-3 next season. I think they're going to improve by 5 games. I'm serious when I say that. That is a rarity for a team to improve by 5 games from season to season. But I think that's going to happen for Nebraska. They were an exception here. This offense has major potential. If their defense can improve, this is a very dangerous Nebraska team. Big Ten West is also favorable. Once again, this is the 3rd team from the Big Ten West on this list. It is very up for grabs, and I think we're going to see that division improve as we go into the next few years. Probably, they may be able to get just as well as the Big Ten East. How high will Nebraska rise? Another big question. I think Nebraska could be competing for Rose Bowls as well. They could be. I mean, I think it's a very good possibility that we're going to see this team compete for a Big Ten championship next year. I mean, that would not surprise me if you told me that they would. I mean, hell, they could go ahead and win it. I mean, of course, the Big Ten East is going to be very difficult. I think Nebraska, they're really going to be able to compete with those tough teams next season. Scott Frost is an excellent coach. He's probably, I would say, one of the better young coaches out there right now. As a Nebraska fans, definitely have something to be excited for going into next season. Well, that is it for this video. Thank you guys all for watching. Just so you guys know, I have been gone for the last month and a half or so. Thanks for you guys' patience with me. And I hope you're sticking around, but thanks for sticking around. It really is appreciated. And I hope to keep the uploads going as we go into fall from now on. I just need to take a little break there. It's kind of the end of school for me. And you know, if you're in school, it's a very busy time for you. And that's kind of what I was dealing with, especially with finals and stuff. I definitely want to put my grades up in front right now, but definitely I'm going to keep tabs on this as well. So once again, thank you guys all for watching, and stay tuned for more from ASC.